How many people have ever participated? And this is going to be self-reflecting, just so you guys know. It's going to be super, super self-reflecting. If you have the ability to write, I'm going to have you write. If you have the ability to take some notes, take some notes. Have any of you ever sat in a focus group? And a focus group goes like this. Marketing or company says, we want to bring a bunch of strangers in and we want to get their take on this product, this service. They want to see what a consumer's perception is on that particular brand. Has anybody ever participated in a study like that ever? Have they ever sat in a focus group? Have they ever sat in like a two-way or one-way mirror where people can see in, but you can't see them? Christian, you had your hand up. What was the focus group or study group or survey group that you were part of or participated in? Christian going once.
Hey, good morning. Sorry, I'm driving right now, otherwise I would have my camera on. But it was for my my skincare business, Rodan and Fields. They had a new product, or I don't remember exactly how it went, but it was along those lines to where there was a few people in the room. You know, we didn't know each other, and then they asked us questions, and we answered, you know, honestly about the questions that they were answering or asking.
And were some of the answers from the consumers, were they shocking? Were they eye-opening? Were they alarming? Like, tell us a little bit about the consumer feedback.
Yeah, it was, I mean, nothing too alarming or anything like that. Everyone was just giving their honest opinion about what the question was. I really can't remember exactly what it was, but I know it was like a focus group like that.
Okay, very cool, very cool. Yeah. Listen, you guys, imagine this. Imagine that I assembled a group of your consumers, your prospects, your peers, your managers together in one room, and you guys can hear their responses to these questions. The reason I'm asking you guys these questions is I want you to really, really take a look at your business and say, like, how am I perceived by others? Right? What are the things in my business where I feel I can elevate my game? And this is a universal language. So I think this will hit on different levels for different people. So let's go through some of the questions. And if you have the ability to write the questions down, please do. If not, I'm going to have Judith try to put all these questions inside of the notes. She is way faster typer than I am. So number one, if you were to ask this group of focused people, what is their experience interacting with you, right? Like if you were to think like, man, what is that experience like interacting with me? Do they feel that you have empathy? Do you actually give a shit about them? Do you care about what they are going through? Do you care about who they are as people? Number three, do they find you likable? God, that's a pretty simple, basic question, but like, do you think that your consumers find you likable? Or are you a hard ass? Are you not open? Are you very challenging? Like, what is that? What about, oh, did I not say two? Oh, number two was, do you feel you have empathy? So is what is their experience interacting with you? Do they feel you have empathy? All right. And number three was, do they find you likable? Four, do they trust you? Right? Do your consumers, your peers, your prospects, your leads, do those people trust you? Will they say that you care about them, right? Remember what we always say, people don't care what you know unless they know that you care. You care about them. Do you know who their kids are, why they're doing this, what their financial dreams are, what they're hoping to accomplish in their life? Do you know that they ate, you know, butter and tortillas when they were kids and that all they want to do is provide the right life for their family, right? Do they see you as a good listener? It's a good one, you guys. There's a book out there I highly, highly recommend everyone get. It's called Just Listen. I've dropped that book before. Highly, highly recommend that you grab that book. Do you offer value? And I think most of the time you guys do. Let me ask you this question. I think that this is cool and I love this. How do you stack up against your competition? That's part one of the question. And are you perceived as different or the same? Right? Do you know, and let's just segue off this, do you know right now what your unique value proposition is? Some of you do, some of you do not. Iceland, do you know what separates, I'm sorry, I'm not calling on you, I'm just saying names, but like, do you know what separates you from any other realtor out there right now? Can I go on your social, be like, damn, Ricky, there it is right there. I can look no further. I know exactly what separates Teresa Davis from her competition. So how do you stack up against your competition? And are you perceived as different or the same? What would they say you should change or refine to become a more impactful sales professional? Think of that. Think of that. That's probably one of the most introspective questions on this whole entire thing. What would they say you should change or refine to become a more impactful sales professional? That could be better follow-up, better communication, better organization. I'll give you a little bit of context for this one. We took Silas to a little birthday party yesterday, and we're talking to the host's father, really cool guy. I forgot his name. I think it was Stan. So we're chopping it up, and he's like, yeah, we're cruisers. I was like, oh, nice. So they just got back from a Norwegian cruise all the way up to Alaska. Imagine that, right? The scene, the beauty, like what they were able to experience. I said, how was that? They said, it wasn't that good. I said, why wasn't it that good? It's such a, he's like, the scenery, everything was great. But the actual cruise line had the worst communication. They had the worst organization. So it made our experience awful. Yeah, the scenery was beautiful, but the communication was something that made our experience less favorable. So just think about that for context. What do they perceive as your strengths? If you were to sit down right now with your consumers, Rebecca Gamon, and ask them, like, what do they perceive to be your strengths? What would that be? And then lastly, overall, what is their perception of you as a person? I love these questions, you guys, because it's really going to make you say, like, how am I truly, truly showing up for people right now? What are the things that I need to work on? Who do I need to become in order to become better at our job, right? So you need to like really, really look at this and say, okay, man, these are some really good questions. Like, this is like a true mirror into who I am. The reason why I do this is because self-awareness is probably the biggest thing in this business. You know what happens is we put our ego front and center sometimes, and we ride off of that. But has anybody ever had a time where they realized that their ego was getting in their way? Has anyone ever had a time where they realized that maybe their ego was getting in their way? Okay. And then what happened when you let that ego go to the side? You grew, right? you just grew. You found a different part of yourself because it's not about you, and you removed yourself. The reason why I like this exercise is that you are able to remove yourself from this and say, okay, how do they think and how do they feel about me? And how am I showing up in the world? So I'm curious, did anybody have any aha moments? Did anybody have anything on their list to say, this is probably an area where I think that I need to improve upon, or I think that my consumers might have a less than favorable rating on my performance.